Hello, I'm doing a review for this book that I've just read. It's a Seth book, The Nature of Personal Reality, by Jane Roberts and Robert F. Butts. First off, I love the Seth books. The last Seth book I read was The Eternal Validity of the Soul, and I thought it was brilliant. It brought me fantastic new insights, enchanting new experiences, and it left me with a hearty appetite for more. When I started reading this one, it seemed more formal than the first one I'd read. That relaxed interplay between Seth, Jane and Rob didn't seem to be there. It was as if Jane and Rob were trying not to get in Seth's way, and it made me realise how important they are to Seth's words. Whatever it was, I couldn't get into it. I attempted ploughing on for about 20 pages, but in the end I did the sensible thing. I put it to one side and trusted that I would find the right time to read it. And that time came a few months ago, in the death and darkness of winter, when new life burgeons beneath the surface waiting to be born. This book is very long, so it's taken me a long time to get through, but it has never been a chore. Every page is a pleasure of information to be absorbed. There have also been many pauses for reflection. As with the other Seth book I've read, I've had a lot of psychic experience during my time I've been reading it, and they're all powerful and meaningful and bring me along my journey. It's funny, but I know I'll read this book again in years to come, and it's almost as if I can feel myself sitting beside my future self, rereading this powerful text, finding new insights, remembering this original enlightenment, and feeling the strength of the growth I've gone through between the readings. I really enjoy the three character interplay of the Seth books. There's Seth, who's being channeled, there's Jane/Rupert, who is channeling Seth, and there's Robert/Joseph taking the notes. It could be presumed that the Seth book would be simply the book that Seth would write, but it really isn't. There's a strong group feeling to the material. Each person has their own character, and they're very different. There are three directions meeting together to apex in the production of the book. Now, I know there are going to be people who hear that this book is written by an entity being channeled through a woman and the words being recorded as notes by her husband, that some people are going to instantly dismiss anything said about it and no doubt exclaim, "What a load of old mumbo jumbo, we live in the real world." Well, to them I say, the real world that you believe in so much, how's that working out for you? How's it working out for all of us on the planet? I say let's be open-minded, expand our horizons and create a new real world. In this age of over-information, it's becoming clearer that there are no real facts, no real research that can give a definitive conclusion. There are points of view, there are stops along the road until we have more information. There are ideas. Some ideas are taken much more seriously than others, sometimes not for very good reasons. I've done a lot of personal work while I've been reading The Nature of Personal Reality. Generally, whatever book I read brings out a lot of inner feelings and makes me contemplate or reevaluate what I think about things. This is never so enjoyable as when I'm reading a Seth book. It can be painful going over your beliefs and being honest with yourself, but I really don't find the process so when guided by a Seth book. It's always refreshing and positive and not remotely corny. Seth is not a religion or a cult, and there is absolutely no desire from it to be such a thing. It's a guide, a tool to use on your own personal journey, a method for unpicking the lock of your inner kingdom. And when used carefully, I really feel that there's nothing better. If there is, I haven't found it yet anyway. I guess the two most important things to take from the book are: you form your own reality. There are no exceptions. And if you want to make changes to your reality, then the point of power is in the present. These two phrases alone are clearly nowhere near thorough enough explanations, and some people may even be offended by them. So, if you're interested in changing one area or all of your life, or you want to understand how to take more control of one area or all of your life, you need to read the book. This book excellently, patiently and thoroughly explains the concept that you form your own reality. I came across this theory years ago through reference to it in another book, and it instantly struck a chord with me. I don't believe in doctrines, full stop, but this idea held so much logic to my thinking that as much as I tried, I couldn't argue with it. So here it is again, as plainly as it can be put. You form your own reality. There are no exceptions. Although I have held this as one of my only solid beliefs since I heard it, I've also struggled with it. I've struggled to completely understand how to put it into practice. So whilst I've learned to look back and examine how my beliefs have created a situation, I have faltered at trying to create my reality in a different way. And that's where understanding that the point of power is in the present comes in. I've also found myself keeping this idea a secret, mostly through fear of upsetting people by saying to them that negative aspects of their lives are caused because they've created them. Sounds harsh, doesn't it? But perhaps I can soften it by explaining that you don't necessarily create these aspects because you want them to happen, but because you believe they will happen, and so you form your reality. An obvious example of this is childbirth is dangerous. For me and my other child-obsessed friends who have read more books on childbirth than many budding midwives, the research and experience shows that there is a clear link between fear and pain in childbirth. And if you follow that through, you can see how the way that childbirth is portrayed in our culture leads to deep fears in women about the process on many levels, and how these fears can in fact play out for us even when we don't want them to. A more subtle belief that is deeply held by many of us is that our human nature is bad. Original sin. Even today, when we think we know better, many of us are still indoctrinated with this belief, and it can lead to many of our feelings of guilt or our habits of punishing ourselves. Obviously, this is all very personal, and we each have our own journey to take. But if you do have areas of your life that you're not happy with, or you feel are unproductive, and you want to change them, then I really recommend this book. I guess you need to believe it as well, or at least be open to it. There would be no point reading this book if you were only looking to find fault with it and what it explains. Although even coming at it from that direction, it could surprise you. So in conclusion, this is the best book I've ever read. Non-fiction, certainly. The best. It's so good, I'm finding it really difficult to find the words to describe it adequately. It's changed my life in a good way. That's certainly how I feel right now. It's so well articulated that trying to describe it seems like boxing it or watering it down or doing it some other form of injustice. I was disappointed when the book came to an end, but I was also satisfied. I highly recommend it to anyone open-minded enough to want to expand their minds, their consciousness and their experience. And who doesn't want to do that? I will definitely read more of the Seth books, but I feel that it's going to take me a while to really absorb the wealth of this one. I may have finished reading it, but I'm certainly not done with it yet. Reading it's been a brilliant experience, examining my life, my ideas, my purpose, my opportunities, my experience, everything. Excellent. Here it is again. I love this book. Okay. Thank you.